for taking on this link. My name is Sam Korsmoe, and I am the founder of the Saigon Writers Club. What that is, it's a club where we teach creative writing, 10 sessions of creative writing, to produce a short story. And we're pretty good at it. Over the last 2 years, we have taught 9 classes, and of those 9 classes, we've come up with 4 short story anthologies. The most recent one being this one here, Dry Season 2023. The next anthology, around 10 of next year, will be the Rainy Season 2023. So, Saigon Writers Club, we help you tell your story, and then we publish your story. And I appreciate sometimes it's hard to tell the story. And so this little video here, I'm going to talk about the art of telling a story, the art of storytelling. I'm going to refer to 2 people, well-known writers, Vonnegut and Joseph Campbell. Vonnegut is a master writer, one of my favorite novelists, and he has a series of videos called The Shape of Stories. You can find those on YouTube, but I'm going to do my best to replicate what he has taught. And the other person is Joseph Campbell, a professor of literature, and he's most well known for something called The Hero's Journey. So I'll discuss a little bit each of these as the way to begin to tell your story. So let's start with Vonnegut. So basically, Vonnegut sees the world as life is wonderful, life is terrible. And here's the timeline of a person. So story number 1 is a above average day. Life is pretty good. Everything is fine. And so you go along in life, but then something happens and you go down a terrible life, but you figure out what to do, and you come out and you're at about the same level as you were before. This is what we call, what Vonnegut calls, life and love prevail. Life and love prevail. Story number 2. Story number 2 starts on a very average, normal day. Nothing special at all of this day. The story starts, go along, and then something really wonderful happens. Boy meets girl, you find $1 million, you find a lottery ticket, you win the lottery, and then it's like, oh no, something terrible happens again. You go down, 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 but then you figure out how to fight the evil, do whatever needs to be done, and you come back out, and you're on top. Better than you were before. Good story. Nice, happy ending. Vonnegut calls this boy meets girl. Or girl meets boy, or man finds the superpower, whatever it is. Basic idea, story 1, life's good, you get really crappy, you come up and you do all right. Story number 2, normal day, starts out really well, goes down, comes back out, and life is better than it was before. Story number 3, this is the fun one. This is a popular one. Lots of movies have made about story number 3. Story number 3 starts way down here. Life is terrible. So life is terrible, the person goes on, maybe both parents are dead, mean sisters, stepsisters, stepbrothers, abuse, but slowly this person, the hero, the main character, gets new things, new power, new friends, new whatever, and life gets increasingly better, all to the point it gets really wonderful. And so now this person is so much better off than they were before. And then, of course, something terrible happens. Time runs out, the power is gone, the magic is done, and all of a sudden they're way down here again, worse than they were before. But of course, this is a story, and so they go along like this and get better and better, and all these friends, and they come up here, and they're in wonderful land. This is called the Cinderella story, after, of course, the movie, The Story of Cinderella. So, 3 ways to tell the story by Vonnegut. Life and love prevail, boy meets girl, and the Cinderella story. So you can already imagine how many movies you've seen that follow this kind of model. Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, also very popular, and a lot of people will say almost everything written, every folk tale told is based on this, as well as movies and so on. Basically 3 parts. You start at home and you take a journey, and you end up back at home. 3 parts: departure, adventure, and return. And it's also a little bit simple to tell in that you have a set number of characters. You have a hero and an anti-hero, a good guy and a bad guy. And then a mentor or a sage that coaches and teaches the good guy. And then of course, allies and friends, sidekicks, people who help the hero on the journey. There's got to be multiple settings because you're making a journey. So you have the home setting, the new world setting, the battleground setting, and then the return home setting. And the fun part here is the tangibles. Some kind of power. A magic sword, think Leloy fighting the Chinese, gets the magic sword from the turtle in Hwan Kim Lake. Or the lightsaber in the Star Wars movies, the lightsaber. Obi-Wan Kenobi being the sage doing his thing. So the way the hero's journey starts is life is pretty boring, pretty normal. You're here at home, but something happens that says, oh my God, big problem, we have to find a solution. And there's a realization, the solution is out there, the solution is on the journey. We have to go out and find our way. The hero is identified, saying, hey, you have to go take care of this problem. The hero is, of course, reluctant. I can't do that. It's too difficult. I'm too small, I'm too young, I'm too skinny, I'm too fat, I'm too whatever. The sage comes in and says, no, you can do it. You have the power within you to do that. And so the hero dares to go, gets ready, and says goodbye to family, life, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever. The adventure begins. So the adventure is, right off the bat, of course, they meet some kind of problem. He meets the allies, has to figure out a problem, has to figure out make a plan, get some kind of powerful tool. And then the anti-hero, the bad guy, shows up. There's a face-to-face confrontation with the bad guy. And the hero and his allies say, okay, here's what we got to do. We got to make a plan to fight the bad guy and to defeat the bad guy. So they make a plan, they're on the battleground, and the big battle ensues. So this is the end of the adventure part, a big battle. And then they win the battle. But of course they don't actually win the battle, because they try to win the battle and they try to escape, and the bad guy chases them. So there's a final battle somewhere around here, and they use the powerful tool, and in fact they do win in the end, because that's what Hollywood does, is make nice movies like where you win in the end. The readers want the hero to win. And so then they journey home, they've learned all this stuff, but what do we do about the magical tool? What about the tangibles, the power, the magic? Do we give it away? Do we take it home? Do we use it again? What have we learned about this? Life lessons. And then they go back and they start a new life. Better than before. Or they do it all again. So even this, of course, you can see there's a lot of Hollywood movies that are made like this. George Lucas said that he was really inspired by the hero's journey by Joseph Campbell's work when he made the Star Wars series. You can see that. In folklore, follows very much the same similar path. Vietnamese folklore follows a similar path. So that is 2 ways to tell a story, and I pledge to help you tell your story, and I pledge to get you to the finish line so your story is published in a book. So you, like me, can stand here in front of your friends and your family and say, hey, look, I am a published author. And I tell you, folks, that is a wonderful feeling to have, and to be able to say that, and to be able to give your book with your story in it to your friends. So I hope you consider that. Go onto our website, www.saigonwritersclub.com. We have classes starting in October, November, and December. I hope you join up. Thanks for listening.